2023 Audi S8. Now, the S8 has always been sort of the underdog, or like the one that you really don't think about when you start considering big body, four-door, high-performance German sedans. You typically will look at Mercedes S-Class AMG, BMW 7 Series Alpinas, but the Audi always seems like it gets it's overshadowed by the other two, and that's wrong, because this car is amazing. I mean, from what it offers, you get a lot of car for the money. My name is Evo, and you're watching Gaudin X. Now, Audi's design language has always been a lot more understated, a lot more low-key than Mercedes or BMW. I mean, especially BMW now. But this car looks really good. It looks really smart. Now, you know, one of my favorite things about Audi has always been their DRLs. I love their daytime running lights, especially on like when they first started doing it in like 08, 09 with the S5. They look really good, and this car doesn't disappoint. These are full LED. They're sort of like the Matrix headlights that Porsche has, because Audi, Porsche, same thing. Now, this one also does have a black optics package. You can see the whole front grille is black. Pretty much every part on this car that would be chrome on an Audi A8 is black. And of course, this is known as the D5 generation of the S8. It was refreshed for 2020, or the new generation came out in 2020. And honestly, for what you get, it is a really, really good car. It does have these upgraded front 21-inch Audi Sport wheels, which are black to go along with the whole look. Red brake calipers, which I gotta say, these have got to be some of the biggest brake calipers I've seen. And the Volkswagen Group does have a tendency to make front rotors massive, like the Urus and the RSQ8 and the Cayenne. But this car is just, I mean, compared to the S-Class and the 7 Series, it is the most normal car out of all of them. The S-Class is flashy, it's out there, you know, if you make money, you go buy it. 7 Series got all this tech, the big screens and whatnot. This is just like, I'm here. That's it. It's not trying to be something that it's not. Now, it is no hidden fact that I am a massive Mercedes fan. If you guys have watched any of the Mercedes videos, you know I rave on about how much I like them, especially with the S-Class. I love the S-Class. But this car has honestly really surprised me. I love how low-key and sleek the car is. This car is almost like a normal Bond villain, like the Bond villain from Casino Royale. Nothing too crazy, nothing wild out there, blow up the world, none of that stuff. He just wants to make a bunch of money and take over a bunch of companies, and that's what this car does. Now, for North America, you can only get the S8 as a long wheelbase. You actually cannot get the car in a short wheelbase like other parts of the world in Europe and Asia, which honestly not a bad thing. It means you have more legroom and it looks better in my opinion. Now, the one kind of thing that the car doesn't do well for me is the fact that, yeah, it looks sleek and low-key, but the detergent of that is the car can be confused for a regular A8. And if you're spending $132,000, you probably want to, you know, you want people to know that you bought the bigger car, the more expensive car. Now, the one way you can differentiate it is with this. These quad exhausts in the rear are the only way, honestly, and aside from the badging, you can really differentiate this from a regular A8. Sure, it's got some small body cues, but when you see those, you know that this is the big boy car. This is the monstrous 4-liter twin-turbo V8, which, let me show you guys exactly what this thing sounds like, because it sounds pretty good. Pretty good, right? I mean, it sounds about as good as a twin-turbo V8 is going to sound. They're kind of hard to make good. But one of my favorite parts about these big body cars is this. In the back right here, you have a massive, massive trunk. Now, if you're involved in, I don't know, certain businesses that involve hostile takeovers and removal of certain parties, well, let's just say you can probably fit a couple, you know, things in the back of this car. But yeah, this is the low-key Bond villain. This is the Casino Royale Bond villain. It's exactly what you expect it to be. Low-key, sleek, and you don't see it coming for your position. Now, while everything else in the S8 may look a little bit more A80, This does not. This is Audi's or Volkswagen Group's 4-liter twin-turbo V8. And this is very recognizable because it's in cars like, you know, Lamborghini Urus, Cayenne Turbo GT, RS6, RS7. Let's just say it's a engine that's been around a lot in different adaptations. Now in here, it is set up to make 563 horsepower and about 590 pound-feet of torque, which, guys, it's plenty enough for this car. I mean, it's a heavy car, but when you get on it, this thing moves. It is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It is a little strange to me that Audi didn't put a dual clutch in this car, and it's just a regular old 8-speed, but I don't know, maybe they did it for comfort-wise, but it is, of course, paired to Audi's Quattro system, which, in my personal opinion, out of the big three, Mercedes, Audi, or BMW, the Quattro system is the best. You cannot beat it. It is an absolute monster, and funny enough, if you try to launch this car, and I've seen this online, the thing squats like crazy. When you like brake torque it, it just squats because of the air suspension, and it just goes. It is an absolute tank of a monster, but let's check out the interior. Now, the interior of the S8 is, I mean, it's just a lap of luxury in here. It is super, super nice. The one thing I do have to criticize, though, is I feel like between the D4 and the D5, Audi didn't go as crazy. They didn't make a massive difference that you can really, I can see hues of the D4 in this car. Now, Mercedes with the new S-Class has gone absolutely above and beyond. The 7 Series looks like no other 7 Series before it. And the Audi, well, kind of like what I said earlier, it's just kind of here, like it's normal. It does what it's supposed to do. Now, Audi's MMI system, which is their infotainment system, I got a gripe with this thing. I have to beef with this thing. I hate the fact that I can't just click the button. Look at that. You can't just click it. You have to hold it down and then it does it. So I'm assuming they did that so that if you're just like, you know, doing something, you don't accidentally click something. But I don't like that. Can I turn that off? I don't think I can, and it's annoying. Down here is your climate control and some other stuff you can mess with, like rear window shade and auto start stop and all that. Now, I like physical buttons. So a lot of these German companies that are going towards this route, I'm not a big fan of. The S-Class, 7 Series, this, I like physical buttons. These like haptic feedback or whatnot buttons are just not, they're not, I don't know. I mean, this is like, sure, it's high quality, and you know, this is kind of where the luxury world's moving to. I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but the center, you have Audi's live cockpit view, which has been something they've had since about 2017. Now, with this one, I have it set up to where it's the map. You can also, of course, mess with it. You can put your, you know, tachometer with your speed. You can put different things like the songs you're playing, current trip, and all that. So it's a very customizable screen, and it works really well. Now, one feature that I absolutely love about this car that I didn't know until I started driving it, that was a thing, is there's a Google subscription in this car that when you're driving and you come to a stoplight, it actually tells you how much longer until the stoplight goes green. I just think it's kind of cool. I mean, it could be seen as, oh, it's dumb. I think it's kind of cool. It's weird. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, it's a gimmick, but it's cool. Why not? Now, of course, down here you have a loads amount of storage in this car. Cup holders up here. Side pockets have a lot of space. Down here you have some extra room. You can put USB connectors down here, and this is refrigerated, so you can have some small things in there. Overall, it is a very nice place to be. I love the diamond stitching on the seats, the Alcantara diamond stitching on the doors. It is a nice place to be. It's just kind of mundane, and I don't know. I mean, if that's your thing, okay. If not, then maybe look elsewhere. But let's take a look at the real spot in the S8. Now, let's be honest here. You're plotting world domination. The only real place you should be in the S8 is the back, specifically right here. And you can plot world domination, hostile takeovers, company position takeovers from a lap of luxury back here. You have heated rear seats. Of course, you have a bunch of legroom back here. Headroom is pretty good too. You have, of course, a view of the sky so that you can have some nice ambient lighting. It's so nice. I mean, this is such a nice place to be. And of course, Audi thought ahead. You never should have somebody in the middle. Let's be honest. And of course, with the center console, you do have this rear climate control. So you can control the heated seats. You can control the temperature of each individual vent and the fan speed. It is so nice. I mean, it's so nice. You can also control from here. You can move the seat, that passenger seat up and down, forward and back if you're sitting over there. You can also, of course, put the shades up. This car is already tinted, but if you want extra tint so nobody can see you when you're coming into your secret meetings, it's such a nice place to be. The only thing left for us to do is to hop in that driver's seat, and let me show you guys how the S8 drives, because it's a nice experience. Now, heading on the 2023 Audi S8, this is a very nice place to be. I mean, super comfortable. Of course, you have the air suspension, which holds everything together, and it allows that cloudy ride, which is exactly what we want. Now, I'm in this part of Mexico. I'm going to accelerate a little bit so I can show you guys what this thing can do, because it's an absolute tank. You just... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, the car absolutely takes off like a rocket ship. My favorite part about it is that you don't really expect it, because it's such a big car. You're like, oh, I'm sure it's going to be fast. No, it's fast. It's really fast, and it just absolutely takes off like a rocket ship. It almost feels like, I'm not going to say Porsche Turbo S fast, because it's not that, but with the amount of torque and everything, and the way it pushes you back, it sort of feels like that. Now, I do believe I forgot to mention earlier, this car, of course, is a twin-turbo V8, but it also has a mild hybrid system with one battery, which is just used for things like auto start stop, kind of cylinder deactivation to increase the fuel economy, because combined in the city, this car is about 18. So it's not the best fuel economy out there, but with the mild hybrid system, it does get a little bit better. And the mild hybrid system is weird. I like it, but then at certain points I don't, because when you're stopped at a light, the auto start stop is really aggressive. Like, you can really feel it. Sometimes I'll be coming to a coasting stop and it'll shut off before I'm even at a full stop. So I don't like that. It's a little weird. Of course, you can't turn it off, which is good. It may be a little bit intrusive. That may be something you guys want to think about. Now, aside from all that, the car is super easy to, of course, to drive. You have a ton of visibility out of this whole car, especially with, the panel sunroofs and everything. It's just a big couch you're sitting on at the end of the day, and it's a great place to be. I truly do really like this car. Again, like I said earlier, I might take an S63 over it, but that's not to say this isn't a very nice car. Now, I am going to switch the car into dynamic mode, which is their like sport race mode, or if you want to call it. This car doesn't have race mode, but I'm going to show you guys what this thing can do. I'm going to slow down a little bit. There's not really any cars behind me, and we're going to try to take off from a sort of stop and see how it does. So 1, 2, 3. And that was the speed limit. It's a really, really quick car. The thing gets up and goes, which is, I like it. I really, really do like it. And of course, the Quattro system is there to make sure that, in case you're in the rain or anything, it's there to save your life. And because of the Quattro system, sure, the car is heavier, but honestly, it doesn't feel like that. Now, when you take turns with the car, you can feel the weight of it, because at the end of the day, it is a massive luxury sedan, but it doesn't feel as heavy, I want to say, as the S-Class. The S-Class, when you take corners, you can really, really feel the weight of the car shifting. And this one, it's a little bit different. It's not as, I guess, how do I say, it doesn't feel as heavy. It's heavy, but it doesn't feel like it. And especially with, the engine that it's paired with, it's so effortless, the acceleration and everything. Now, the S8 D5 is an impressive car, but like I said at the beginning of the video, it is overshadowed by the other two, and I think that's still the case in my opinion. I would much rather have an S63 over this. More power. I just prefer the infotainment system in that car, and I kind of prefer the looks of it too. But not to say this isn't a good car. This is, if you're looking for something that isn't crazy looking, that's understated, and that's still wicked fast, this is a great option. Now, I did say MSRP is about $125 for a base, and it goes up from there. So it can get pricey, as we know with most German automakers. And it's a great place to be. Great car. It's a great looking car in my opinion, but I think they could have done a lot more. But let us know what you think down below. If you like this kind of content, make sure you check out our channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.